Don't mind how I look. I just woke up and I have a sick 5-year-old currently. But me and my fiance last night were talking about how, like, some people online will, like, diagnose themselves just from, like, seeing others on TikTok, things like that. I never diagnosed myself with anything, but if I see something and I do my own research and I'm like, you know what, like, this could be what's causing, whatever issue I'm having. I will bring that information to my doctor and be like, hey, like, here's my symptoms, like, here's what's been happening. And most of the time, she already knows my symptoms and knows that, like, there are things that are going on that we don't really understand yet. And she'll, go in and tell me, like, if it's worth testing for it or, if it's probably something else. So I just kind of take my own research, bring it to her, and get her opinion on it. This obviously doesn't happen often. Like, I don't often find something where I'm like, oh, I think I have this. It normally is if it's like something I've been dealing with symptom-wise for a very long time that we haven't figured out what it is. And then I'll find something and do like really in-depth research of it. And we were talking about how funny it was because I was diagnosed with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I believe last year in March. And before that, probably like 4 or 5 years ago, I was still like posting TikToks then, and somebody commented, and I'd never heard of EDS at that point. And someone commented and said, hey, you look like you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Like, it might be worth looking into. And at that point, I was like in the trenches with like, I think Z was probably 6 months old at that point. And I was like, oh, like, whatever, it's probably fine. And mind you, at this point, I've been diagnosed with JRA since I was like a year old. Like, I was a baby when I was diagnosed. So before, I would always just chalk up all my problems to that. Then I was having this pain all the time. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia at that point, actually, with pain that when I did my own research, I was like, I don't think I have this. Like, it's not really lining up with like the pain I'm experiencing. And so it took me years to see more about Ehlers-Danlos, and it started like popping up on my page more. And I was like, oh, this is that thing that like people have commented saying I look like I have it. And I learned more and more about it. I didn't even know what hypermobility was before that. And I brought it to my doctor the first time, and she's like, well, are you hypermobile? And I was like, honestly, like, I don't know. I don't know how you know if you're hypermobile or not. Went home, I did more of my research, and at my next like scheduled appointment, because I have to go about once every 3 months to see her, and I went back and I said, hey, like, I'm absolutely hypermobile. And she had like a resident with her and stuff, and she goes, okay, like, can you show me like the Baton scale? And I was like, yeah, for sure. Showed her. I'm a 9 out of 9 on the Baton scale, and that's with limited mobility because of my arthritis. And the resident behind it was going, yeah, like, absolutely, she has it. She's pulling out my skin, like doing all those checks, because there's like a diagnostic criteria for hypermobile EDS. So she did that, and she's like, you know what, yeah, like that fits. That's probably it. And it's probably not fibro, it's probably this. And it's like, absolutely, like, I really felt like I did not fit in that category of like fibromyalgia, and it felt like then that diagnosis on my page was inhibiting me from getting proper help for what was going on in my body, because fibromyalgia was just like slapped onto my charts when I went and said, hey, I'm having like something that almost feels like muscle pain, like, I'm having pain without active inflammation from my arthritis, so like something else is going on. Fibromyalgia gets slapped on that, and it disappears pretty much. And it's funny because what originally got me diagnosed with fibromyalgia was because I went to my doctor and I was like, hey, I'm having debilitating pain that feels like my ribs are being squeezed, my upper abdomen's killing me. Like, it literally feels like someone's in there like squeezing and pulling. It feels hard to breathe. And when I say this pain is the worst pain I've ever felt, I've had a C-section, I've had my gallbladder removed, I've had an enucleation, I was born with JRA, like all kinds of really difficult things. I went through 19 hours of labor with 2 failed epidurals, and nothing tops the pain of these like episodes that I get. And that's when they slapped the fibromyalgia diagnosis, even though that is not even like typical of it. And these pains started when I was 21 weeks pregnant with my son. I thought I was in early labor, and then they kind of went away. It would like come on and then stop. And I was like, this is so weird. By the end of my pregnancy, I couldn't go a full day without at least 6 hours being in agonizing pain. So then a year after that, year after I had my son, they removed my gallbladder because they go, oh, you have gallstones. And I'm like, hey, this has to be the pain. This has to be what's causing it. And like, I'm so grateful to get it out because I'm like, I don't have to live in this like debilitating pain anymore. And they removed my gallbladder, and I wake up having one of these pain episodes. And I remember just being like so heartbroken because I was like, I cannot keep living with this pain all the time. And I mean, now I've been having these episodes for about 6 years. And again, the only thing that they've said it was is first gallstones and then second fibromyalgia. Obviously, neither of those things fit. So now we're like still kind of trying to figure out what is causing that. And we have some ideas. We're looking into gastroparesis, and then we're looking into something called MALS. It's something to do with like a ligament that causes that squeezing pain. And anybody who like knows me very well has seen me experience these episodes, and like I can't even like think straight. The pain is so severe. I just sob the whole time, and then like they'll randomly just stop, and then I'm completely fine. It's the wildest thing that I've experienced, and like I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But yeah, I just thought it was crazy how, you know, a lot of things have actually came from me seeing it online, and I've been able to get proper help because of that. And also having good doctors, obviously, who like will take my concerns seriously and test when they think it's necessary.